So this is what Wargaming teased us with in their video about World of Tanks in 2024, new upcoming Polish tank destroyer line, and today we are able to take a look at the Tier 10 Polish tank destroyer NC-70 Błyskawica or Błyskawica, however I have to say that. Well, sorry for all the Polish viewers for butchering this name, but let's call it NC-70. But this is the first tank destroyer that they are revealing any information about in the upcoming Polish tank destroyer tech tree, and this one actually is the Tier 10, so the cherry on the top of the cake, guys, the cherry on the top of the tech tree, and we have some quite ridiculous numbers over here. For example, if you shoot close range, your TPM is the best in the game compared to any tank destroyer, or overall the best in the game, guys. But you lose damage the further away the target is, but more about that in a second. And also, for example, the shell velocity on the premium APCR round, guys, 2000 shell velocity, meters per second shell velocity. Anyway, let's dive into it and let's see, at first, let's see what Wargaming is saying about this vehicle, about this new mechanic as an introduction, right? So the Błyskawica or Błyskawica possesses a new mechanic. The damage caused by its round depends on the distance from the target. It decreases the further away you are. This mechanic is active for the standard and special rounds, but not for the high explosive rounds. So, key thing to note over here. It prompts the player to stay close to the enemy in the battle and makes playing in the NC-70 rewarding, but also demands a certain degree of tactical awareness. Of course, you can't go in too deep alone because you do not have a turret. It is a tank destroyer. It is, well, let's say, quite easy to outmaneuver it if you are out in the open, right? The new branch of Tier 8 and Tier 9 vehicles will also have this mechanic. So like most of the special mechanics in World of Tanks, it starts from Tier 8. Inside the deck tree at least, you know, the auto-loading, auto-reloading things, the Japanese heavy tanks we just had with the gun cooling mechanic, all those start from Tier 8. So they are saying new shell mechanics, deep rifled guns. High-tier Polish tank destroyers will be equipped with deep rifled guns unique to World of Tanks. Not only does this give the guns a remarkable appearance, but also allows them to fire unusual shells at very high velocity. Also, star tray shells. A key feature of the new mechanic is the introduction of star tray APCR shells. They are most effective when shooting at targets up to 50 meters away. This is how you get the most damage out of it, right? However, as the distance increases, the loss of kinetic energy means that the damage gradually decreases. So it is a linear decrease. It is not like set in stone. If you are 50 meters away, you do 1 damage. 100 meters, you do 1 damage. It is linear. So let's say if you are 77 meters away from the target, you do damage on average what 77 meters can do, right? So it's a linear decrease or increase. Ammunition arsenal. With the new mechanics, shells deal a lot of damage at close range but are less effective at longer range. The third shell is the standard HE shell. Interface changes. When using shells with the new mechanics in the battle, you will see a special widget displaying the expected average damage based on your distance from the enemy if they are highlighted. Okay, so a new display or new stat will be shown on the screen. As players approach their target, the damage of the indicator will increase, while with distance it will decrease. This feature helps make more informed decisions and use both shells effectively. So now, after we know a bit more how it works, let's take a look at this tank as well. And by the way, take a look at his, how did they call it, star tray shells. Yes, this is the barrel actually. So this is quite a unique looking gun right over here, or barrel, let's say. Anyway, this is how it looks like. Once again, absolutely nothing special when it comes to look, you know, besides the gun over here, the tip of the gun. But other than that, it looks pretty basic basic, I would say super similar to the VZ-113 Tier 10 Chinese tank destroyer. But looking at the firepower, guys, we have some things to talk about over here. So they are giving us 3 different examples of the shell damage based on the distance. For example, up to 50 meters, 800 alpha damage right over here, all across the board. APCR, premium APCR, and high explosive. Another example is when you deal damage at the target, which is, for example, 275 meters away, and that damage is 550 or 800 with high explosive, and the shell damage over 500 meters, 300, but HE still does 800. And looking at the penetration numbers, you have 290, 320, and 85. And if we talk about this damage over here, if it is lightly armored tank, I would say it is almost always better to shoot high explosive, because if you do not penetrate, you are still going to do damage, right? If you hit the hull, same case as with APCR round, like if you hit the tracks or under the hull into the tracks, you're not going to do damage with APCR anyway, because APCR is the standard round as well over here, but HE does some damage at least, and I would say 300 compared to 800, this is very good risk-reward ratio over here, at least in my opinion. 85 pen, you know, that can go through some things. But shell velocity numbers, guys, 1700 with standard APCR, 2000 with premium APCR. So this is the highest shell velocity in the game. New highest shell velocity in the game. This is going to be like a blink of a second hit every time, basically. I believe you can even, like with this shell velocity, you can even just auto-aim and boom, into the target, which is moving sideways under 90 degrees of an angle. And it is fast enough to hit that, at least up to like 250 meter range or something like that. And so very, very fast shell velocity. HE is also 1000, which is quite average, I would say. So yeah, here are the damage numbers. So once again, it is linear increasing and decreasing. So like it is not fixed number at 275, 250. You deal what you are going to do at 250. It is going up and down like that. Hopefully I'm not making it more confusing. Now reload time is 13.7 seconds, and if we look at the DPM numbers over here based on the damage given to us right here, let's pick up the calculator once again. So 13.7 seconds means 4.38, roughly 4.38 rounds per minute. If you are close to the targets, guys, your DPM is 3504, roughly around that, which is the highest DPM in World of Tanks in the game with APCR and high explosive rounds over here. I think maybe Badger with the high explosive only or the Hesh only can get higher DPM, but it is not going to be that reliable penetrations, of course. So at 275 meters with 550 alpha, your DPM drops massively. You can already see like 1100 less DPM, and if you're sniping with APCR rounds, then your DPM at very far distance is super bad. So it is quite an interesting concept. On one side of the graph, you are the best, but on the other side of the graph, you are absolutely useless. You are like the worst. You have 300 alpha with 13.7 second reload. That is not something you can brag with for sure. And now aiming time 2.5 seconds, 0.35 accuracy. Like for this type of alpha, let's say especially for close range, mid range, this gun handling seems to be very nice. Minus 7 degrees of gun depression, we have 26 degrees gun traverse speed and 60 shells. It can carry 60 shells. Well, don't worry, you are not going to run out of ammunition. So firepower, interesting. I would say the main thing over here is to say interesting. Close range, OP, long range, worst. piece of garbage, right? Mobility 45, 15, 900 horsepower engine, 16 power to weight ratio. So not slow, guys. This tank is actually not slow. So in close range, yeah, you need some kind of mobility. In this type of tank, you don't have a turret. You need some kind of mobility. What is the hull rotation? Okay, 30 zone. Yeah, definitely not the slowest, not the easiest to circle fully. In every single tank, 2000 hit points, 200 hull armor, 70, 60, very weak side. Over here, we have some lower plate action. So I guess like the lower plate is easily penetrable, maybe those sides as well. Like, yeah, upper superstructure with 200. It could be like very easily penetrable, in all honesty. It doesn't seem to have that much of sloped armor action over there. 370 meter view range. It has commander, gunner, driver, and loader. Basic setup right over here. And yeah, this is NC-70 Błyskawica. Let me know, please, how do you pronounce that? Let me know what you think about that. This is the Tier 10 Tech Tree NC-70, and once again, keep in mind, it is super test. Everything is subject to change. Please keep that in mind. All characteristics are not final, and they could buff it, they could nerf it, they could do many different things. But at least we get an idea of what they are thinking about doing to all those tanks. I thank you so much for your attention. I catch you next time with something else. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, take care, and bye.